Hello, I'm Andrew. Welcome to University Career Services Web Shop series. Today we're going to be talking about career fair tips. These are some important tips to help you be successful at your next career fair. So the agenda for this short video, to make this simple, we're going to go over what to do before the career fair, during the career fair, and after the career fair. So before the career fair, this is probably what's going to be the most time consuming to you and also the most important step. The first thing you want to do is research the employers that will actually be attending the particular career fair that you're going to be going to. One way to do this, very simple, is go to our website, careers.rutgers.edu. That will list all the employers that will be attending the career fair on those days. So you can go there and at least see of the 300 plus employers that we may have, who may be in attendance and who you might be interested in visiting. The second step is, once you've identified those, you want to do some research on those fewer list of employers. So the first obvious step is to go to those employers' websites, visit their company websites and try to look up information that they present about themselves in terms of their company mission, their values, the positions that they might already have posted, any news items that they felt were noteworthy about themselves, so that you have some talking points when you're visiting them in person. The second place to look would be LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn, you can search not only for people, but for company profiles as well, and you can see what kind of information they present there. And you can then look at the individual people that work at that company on LinkedIn, and maybe even look up some related positions related to the field that you're interested in. And then if you look at what their accomplishments have been, what their general duties and responsibilities have been, you'll have a much better sense of the positions that you may be discussing with the employer in person and have much more relevant things to say. And then the very last place you might want to look is a resource that we have available for you through Career Night called Vault. Vault is a list of industry guides and company profiles that are very up to date on what trends are occurring in both industries, what relevant news items might be coming up with different companies. And so again, the purpose of this preparation is so that when you're meeting with an employer, you know what you're talking about. The second step would be developing your resume, because when you're going to the career fair, some employers may want to have a quick idea of some of your skill sets and previous experience, and if they're interested enough in you, they may want to collect your resume to keep on hand with them. So you want to take some time to develop your resume. One additional thing you may want to do is develop a portfolio of your work in addition to your resume, depending on the kind of career field that you may be looking to go into. So you could bring both your resume and your portfolio. For more information about how to develop your resume, you may want to refer to another video in our web shop series on resume writing. Once you've developed your resume, then come in for our resume critique hours, where you don't need an appointment. You can just show up and get a critique, or you can schedule an appointment with a career development specialist through Career Night to get a full 30-minute appointment to go over your resume. But make sure you plan that in advance. The next step in terms of preparing in advance of the career fair is getting your professional attire ready. The first step to do is go to our career and internship guide, which is available online. If you go to our website, careers.rutgers.edu, and go to our students tab, you'll see a link to this guide. Within the guide, you'll see a section called What Should I Wear? This will tell you about business casual and business professional attire. Our recommendation is to do business professional. But if you can't, then business casual is appropriate. And if you're wondering what those look like, there are pictures available within the guide that show you what to wear. The very last step to do before preparing for the career fair is to plan your conversations. This requires two things. The first is your elevator pitch or 60-second commercial. What that is a very brief summary of your education, your relevant experience and skills that may be of interest to the employers that you have identified. And so when you go to the career fair, you'll see that it's very busy and you may have your chance to step up in front of the employer, and then there's a line of other students waiting behind you. So you only have a very limited amount of time to really impress the employer about what you have to offer them, and also to really convince them that you're interested in their particular company and in the particular positions that they're offering. And so make sure that you take some time to develop that very brief summary of those things. And to help you with that, you can also go to that career and internship guide that I mentioned before, and look up the section on elevator pitch, and that will walk you through how to develop your own. And then the second part of planning your conversation is developing a list of questions that you want to ask the employer. And so a question could be, for example, what are some characteristics that make an employee within your organization successful? A question like that shows them that you're future thinking, that you're interested in what makes their organization uniquely work, and trying to identify the skill sets that they're looking for. And so then you can talk about what skill sets you have that match that. Using the career fair mobile directory, and again the website is careers.rutgers.edu/fair, to locate the employers that you want to meet, and so you can plan your strategy for meeting those employers and navigating the very crowded career fair. Some employers will have a line of candidates waiting. And so what you want to do while waiting in line is listen to the conversations employers are having with other candidates. This may give you some clue as to the kind of questions they may be asking every candidate, and so you can better plan your responses. Make sure that in between using the app to locate the employers, you're either turning off or muting your cell phone so that it's not a distraction when you finally actually are face-to-face with the employer. And then when you meet with the employer, make sure you introduce yourself, use a firm handshake, smile, and start your elevator pitch or 60-second commercial. Once you're done speaking with them and you have their business card in hand, before you go to the next employer, take some time to flip their business card over and write a few notes behind the card to remind yourself of the points that you talked about with them. So that way when you're following up with them, you have some specific things to mention. Because I promise you, it's going to be almost impossible to remember each individual conversation you've had with each employer you've met with. So taking these notes right away is going to help you with the next step. And the next step is after the career fair. So after the career fair, you want to send thank you notes to every employer that you've met with. So that's what the business card is for, to remember the name, their contact information, and those notes that you took about what you spoke about. In the career and internship guide, there is a sample email template that we've put together that you can use and replace with your information and the talking points you've had that will tell you how you can do that follow-up email. And make sure you're following through in a timely manner. So what that means is when you send that thank you email, that should be within a day or two. And you also, if you've had any conversations with them on the spot and they've expressed an interest in you and have encouraged you to follow up with them, make sure you're completing any online applications through their website that they've asked you to complete, that you send any agreed upon information such as transcripts if they've asked for that, and so on. So the final thing I want to talk about is employer expectations, and this applies primarily to two different groups of people attending the fair. The first are those seeking internships and jobs. And the main thing that employers expect is that you have a knowledge of the company or industry you're applying to. One of the biggest pieces of feedback we get from employers is that a lot of students and alums who attend these fairs haven't researched the companies or industries, and they will ask very innocent questions like, I'd love to learn more about what your company does. Their expectation is that since you know the employers that will be attending the fair in advance using that mobile app, you'll be able to spend some time researching their websites, Vault and LinkedIn, so that you have talking points to speak with them about. The second group of people who attend the fair are career explorers and networkers. Those are people who might not be necessarily actually seeking an internship or job opportunity, although that may be a secondary purpose. Primarily, they're looking to learn more about different employers, what internship and job opportunities are available, and maybe even just practice being at a career fair. So there are still expectations that the employers have for those people. So be prepared with thoughtful and appropriate questions to learn a little bit more about the industry and that particular company. Thank you for joining us for our web shop series. For more information about this topic and others, visit careers.rutgers.edu.